And so when we look at the circumstances surrounding his death, they're still a little murky. These horrific documentaries that have come out on CNN and Reels paint this picture of this, the sordid picture of the sad, lonely, desperate artist. Let me tell you something about Prince that I feel like I can confidently say. Anybody who had that much access to that much creative talent and built himself an entire complex.
It is a complex.
In order to be able to just at his whim to create. He had a channel that was beyond most channels that any of us have to cope with any pain. He was able to access that pain in his spirit and take it, put it down on paper, and then add some music to it. And therefore, I don't think that he ever suffered long-term mental anguish over anything. He was very good at compartmentalizing things. A lot of people said that. He would just cut things off that bothered him. And I mean, that has a psychic toll, don't get me wrong.
Absolutely.
But, I don't know how he managed all those relationships. Family, friends, managers, record labels, lawyers, accountants, guitar techs. Most celebrities have to do that. He did it without a lot of buffer, because the one thing that I've heard both in these panels and privately is that he controlled everything. He didn't do a lot of delegating. So that may have taken a toll on him physically. It may have taken a toll on him emotionally. But I think Prince was a pretty strong guy also.
And beginning with someone like Prince, who was such a perfectionist and he was always on point, he never revealed anything that was getting him down.
Right. So if there was anything that was going to stop him from doing the things that he loved and keep him from being Prince, and Prince was not the type of guy I think who was going to cry on your shoulder and go, I'm hurting, I'm in pain. I think he had his vulnerabilities, he had his demons, he had so many things, but I don't think that he was self-destructive in that sense. I think it's very possible if something happened that it just got out of his hands.
So Tamara has just hi Tamara, thanks for staying with us. Tamara's saying that perhaps he had too many people around him who, took no for an answer.
Why do people think only celebrities have that? Have you ever had a drug addict in your family? You know what I mean? And again, I'm not equating Prince at all to a drug addict. I don't believe addiction was the issue. But, celebrity does not mean, yes, you probably get a few more yes people. You get obviously more people who want to hang on to the fame and the money. There are people who will always be happy to be the man that's next to the man that's next to the man that's next to the man. If they're in the distant entourage, they're happy. There are people who will live through another person vicariously. Did he have yes people? But I mean, every single person has also said Prince was in control of every single thing in his business and his life. So you're going to tell me this guy, with all his control, just decided to relinquish it? And people were like, he was a grown man. He was a grown-ass 50-plus man. He was going to do what he wanted to do. Yes, man, be damned. I do know that celebrities have a lot of people around them who pull on them in very various directions. And the loneliness that comes from being a celebrity more than anything else is the loneliness of feeling like you don't have anyone who's there for you, because everybody's around the fame and everyone's around the money and everyone's around, I get to fly in a private jet and the entourage and all those kinds of things. So your connections to people is sometimes through that prism of fame and money, and that becomes difficult for you to connect with people on a very genuine level.
I think that Prince paid a very high price, and I've given this a lot of thought, and I've tried to, because we can never really know who he was. But based on what I've read and based on what I believe as a woman that has children, and I'm married, and that he paid a very high price. He didn't have a personal life that was strong enough. I don't think he didn't have children. He didn't have a strong,
I don't have
relationship.
Any of those things,
I know,
but
you're also not a man who's writing 1,000 songs and have
but all
a
the
worldwide
better.
adulation. Well,
all the better, because if I could get in there and write some songs, then he said that my friend interviewed him, Miles Marshall Lewis. Shout out to Miles. He interviewed him not too long before December 2015, and he mentioned that. He said a lot of geniuses don't have a lot of close friends, and he said, I'm okay with that, because if that means I'm a genius, I'm okay with that.
Really? Yeah.
I know. But did he had people in his life that had been around for a really long time?
But are you telling me that this man who wrote such incredibly emotive songs
Interesting
such
point.
deeply felt songs, like, you know, one of my all-time favorite songs that he ever wrote, And God Created Woman.
Oh, I love that
Right?
song.
It's stunning. It's stunning.
Yes.
And there's such a progression of lyric through it that is mind-blowing from so many different angles. So someone who can write like that, who clearly must feel deeply, is he manufacturing that level of depth?
He was a little petty with the women. Now that's documented because he did burn down that. Well, he didn't burn it down. He demolished the house that he lived in with Manuela here in Minneapolis. And rumor has it, we don't know if it's true,
His
that
second
he tried to send the stones from the to bulldoze house to her. But he did say in some of the divorce, we don't know why they got divorced. That did not come out of the divorce decree. But we do know that there were some IMs that were part of the decree, and in the IMs you hear it, you see him communicating with her and saying, "Did you hear about the house?" And she's like, "Yes." He said, "How did you feel about that?"
Yeah.
So he had his moments. His feelings could get hurt. He wasn't impervious to pain or anything like that. He was a man. He was a person. He wasn't a deity.
I don't buy that he's sitting there telling a journalist that yes, and if that means that I can be a genius, then that's great. I don't buy that, because I think
He did say that.
yeah, I know. I mean, I'm sure he said it. I'm not doubting that he said it. But what?
Would you rather be Prince or some guy who has tons of really good friends and is?
What I'm saying is that I don't believe that he was impervious to wanting something deeper and stronger with another human being. Have children. When you have children, that's a love that cannot be replaced.
I'm not saying the man didn't want a connection. I'm not saying he didn't sometimes lay up in his bed and go, one of the 3 round beds or whatever they were, and say, you know what, I wish I could connect more deeply with just one person, because you could be lonely connecting with millions of fans and still want the love of one person. I would like to find the love of one person. So if anybody out there is watching, even if you're over, seas, come, just Phyllis knows how to find me. I'm a fabulous.
I can hook you up, as
Yes,
they say,
call
as the
Phyllis.
whippersnappers say.
You gotta be somebody with some sense, but see him being some type of, like, you can have pain, but that doesn't mean that you can't live with it. Prince, I'm sorry. I know
Makes me sad, though.
people making those documentaries saying he didn't have this, he didn't have that. I don't know. I was in Paisley this time, and I was in Paisley in '98, and both times I felt like it was a comfortable, vibrant, loving atmosphere. One of the things that Angie, who is the archivist, said, and I just read this in the New York Times article that they did on her, she said that she had to go through, one of the first things that they had to do when they started cleaning things up and trying to archive them and find them and catalog them, they had to go through the entire space and take out all of the candles. She said there were candles everywhere in Paisley Park. So they had to take all of those candles out of there because they're fire hazards. She said her quote was, Prince can burn down Paisley, I can't burn down Paisley. So they had to get rid of all of the candles. So, he created a vibe. That's what I remember from our interview, was me, him, Larry Graham, and a candle in between us. And some nice scent was emanating from it, I'm sure. Something, I don't remember it. But, he created a sanctuary for his creative endeavors, and their creative endeavors. Who creates an entertainment complex? Corporations do that. Individuals don't do that. And this is something he did when he was in his 20s.
Yeah.
He was in his 20s. There's another clip on YouTube you can find where you see him saying at this show that he did here in Minneapolis, he's like 22, 23 years old, and he's like, I'm going to create a place where we can all come back to and hang out. And he did it. Listen, people have their demons, they have their flaws. He was he wasn't a deity, though he had some otherworldly psychic things going on, I think. But I truly believe that if the truth does come out, I don't think it's the truth that we've been told. I think that there must be something extenuating, because Prince was not a stupid dude. Now let's be clear. He wasn't a dumb guy. And that was consistent with things that people said all the time. He wasn't some guy that was going to sit there and just keep popping pills and think, okay, he somewhere along the line may have gotten away from him in some kind of way. Not his life, but maybe managing whatever it was that he was using those pills to manage. We don't know what that was. They're going to tell you hip, they're going to tell you this, that, and the other. We don't know. Until I see some receipts, we like receipts. He's gone from the physical realm. He will continue on and on and on and on through the energy of the music that he put out. His spirit is probably disseminated, whatever you believe, into the universe and will show up again in some other different kind of way. He existed. He was beautiful. He was a amazing person and personality. We're all here, all of us sitting here right now because of this one man. All those people came today because of this one man, and that's what he put out into the universe. And we may have wanted him to live a little bit longer, but apparently, God, the spirit, whatever you believe in, they said his time, he's done what he needed to do.
He's very funny.
This Facebook Live has been going on for a while. Do we have any more things?
It's been going on for a very long time.
I hope you guys all enjoyed it. This is like a real show.
I've had fun with it. Have you had fun?
I have.
We've shown roots, tattoos. We've talked about,
Phyllis almost kicked me in the face with her studded. I don't even know
it's
kind
of
sequin studs. They're embellished. She's about to kick me again. Look, there's like purple lights coming from them.
But if you're going to be kicked in the face, you might as well be kicked
by
in the
these
face
kinds of boots.
Right?
Yeah, I don't want to get kicked in the face by some plain boots.
No, exactly. So just finally, because we are going to wrap up, we have been on 50 minutes. It's the longest one. We have broken the dig, if you will, this picture. Record.
All
really.
right.
But I think it's fitting because it is the final one that we're going to do in Minneapolis. So against
Minneapolis
this gorgeous backdrop, which I love. I actually forget that it's here. And as we're talking,
take that home with her right now.
I think it would fit in my luggage going back to Australia. So,
the people, everyone that I met, they were just so happy to be here. From all over the world: Belgium, London, Australia, France. People just were so connected because of this man's life and his work. And so love would be what I would take away. It was a really loving energy, and we need more of that in this world. And if this is how you access that through the music of this one artist, then I think,
bring it on.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you. We finally made this happen.
Yeah,
finally made this happen.
3 days. We've been trying to
make it happen. 3 days trying to
happen.
Connect like this.
See, that's love. That's what it is.
This is love. It's purple love.
The
purple
love
here and love symbol there.
Yeah.
So, guys, thank you so much for being a part of this show and these diaries. I have had such an incredible time bringing all this stuff to you. It's been emotional. It's been a purple roller coaster ride, and
yes.
It really has. It has been a roller coaster ride. I never thought I'd cry as much as I did.
Yeah.
But
you cried, you laughed.
Hugged, lots of purple love hugs. But thank you so much. If you like this video and if you like the work that I've brought to you over the last few days, please share and like.
Send her some money.
And
okay.
Go
fund Phyllis.
Send me some more sequins because I'm running out of sequin outfits. And I've got to
furnish her, support her. Let's see Phyllis on the big screen on the TV somewhere. We like the social media; it's cute. But you know what, Phyllis is this chick here. She came to Minneapolis, Paisley Park on a Hummer. She just came like, hey, this is something that I want to do, and she made it happen. This girl right here, she made it happen. She and Anita, give yourself a little bit of camera time. Say hi. Anita is gonna be shy.
Come around.
But let me tell you something. This girl here,
she's hot. Come around.
She says her philosophy is say yes to things. And this girl came with Phyllis, and they made this thing happen. So you know what, ladies? Kudos to you.
Thank you. Everybody,
much love.
Peace out.
God, it was so much fun.
Like that video, Purple Army, there is plenty more where that came from. All you have to do is subscribe to this channel and do all that social media stuff that's coming up on the screen. Oh, and peace.